What if I told you that in medieval Europe, sleeping naked wasn't just frowned upon? It was considered a sin. Imagine a cold stone room lit by a single flickering candle, a rough wooden bed, a blanket of itchy wool, and before you lie down, you're reminded, take off your shoes, but not your clothes. Because to sleep unclothed was to tempt the devil himself. In a world ruled by faith and fear, even the smallest act could carry moral weight. To eat, to bathe, to dress, everything was tied to religion, and nothing was watched more closely than the human body. The church taught that the body was weak, a vessel of temptation. Ever since Adam and Eve were cast from Eden, nakedness symbolized shame. To be bare, even in private, was to expose the soul to sin. Priests warned that the devil worked through the flesh, whispering impure thoughts into the hearts of those who dared to sleep without clothing. And so modesty became a kind of armor, even in the dark. For monks and nuns, the rules were clear. No one was ever to sleep without their tunic. They believed Satan prowled at night, seeking entry through dreams and desires. A bare body was a doorway, and every uncovered inch invited danger. But this fear of naked sleep wasn't just spiritual, it was social. In most medieval homes, privacy didn't exist. Entire families slept in one room, sometimes even in one bed. Parents, children, and servants lay side by side, wrapped in the same heavy air. To remove your clothes in such company wasn't just immodest, it was indecent. Even among the nobility, the idea of sleeping naked was unthinkable. A lord and lady's chamber wasn't a sanctuary, it was a public room. Servants came and went constantly, bringing food, lighting candles, tending the fire. To be seen undressed, even by accident, could bring humiliation or gossip. In those times, clothing meant virtue. A covered body was a disciplined body, a moral body. To strip even for comfort risked being labeled sinful or shameful. And so while we see a bed as a place of rest, medieval people saw it as a place of testing. At night, when thoughts wandered and dreams blurred the line between desire and sin, the church warned that demons could enter the mind. The less flesh exposed, the safer the soul. There were also practical fears. Physicians claimed that sleeping naked invited disease, that bad air would cling to bare skin and poison the body. So between church and medicine, no one dared to risk it. Clothing meant protection, from sin, from sickness, from scandal. Peasants wore their rough linen shirts to bed, the same ones they worked in during the day. The wealthy slept in long gowns of soft fabric, sometimes even with caps or gloves to keep warm. And if someone died unclothed in bed, it was said they had died in disgrace, caught in sin's embrace at the final moment. Still, not everyone obeyed. Behind closed doors, when the candles were out and the world was asleep, some couples quietly defied the rules. Lovers, newlyweds, and poets spoke of the joy of sleeping as God made us. Writers of the late Middle Ages began to rediscover beauty in the human form. Painters depicted Adam and Eve not as cursed, but as innocent, pure before shame existed. These whispers of rebellion marked the slow awakening of a new idea, that the body wasn't an enemy but a part of life. That warmth, touch, and comfort were not sins, but human needs. Still, for most of medieval Europe, to sleep naked was unthinkable. It was an act of defiance against faith, against fear, against centuries of moral conditioning. Because in that world, the body didn't belong to you. It belonged to God, to the church, and to the rules written in scripture and sermon. Even in your sleep, you were expected to remain righteous. Virtue didn't rest, and neither did guilt. The truth is, the medieval fear of nakedness wasn't about skin. It was about control. The control of the body, of desire, of privacy. People were taught that God was always watching, but so were their neighbors, their priests, and their own conscience. So they covered themselves in fabric and faith, layer upon layer, not just to stay warm, but to stay pure. And yet, even under all those heavy blankets and moral rules, the human heart remained the same. Somewhere in the darkness of those ancient rooms, love still reached across the cold. Two souls still found warmth and each other, even if sin was said to be watching. So the next time you slip beneath your blanket and feel the comfort of your skin, remember this. In another time, in another world, that simple act could have cost you your soul. Because in medieval Europe, sleeping naked wasn't just a choice, it was a temptation. and temptation in the eyes of the church was the beginning of sin.